You know what the title is of the film, the video, bloody film. You know what the title of the film is, and you know what the title of this video is. We're talking about Alien 3. Now, oh God, the reason why I go, oh God, is because you might have watched Critical Drinker's video about production hell of Alien 3. Why did all this happen? It's quite simple. They wanted to cash in. Brandywine Productions wanted to cash in on the Alien franchise. It was like 1986 when Aliens was released, and it was fucking glorious, as far as they're concerned, as a cash cow. It was great. And then Brandywine Productions have done nothing else. So we need to drag out the Alien franchise again. Alien 3, let's go. So they did. They gave it a release date to drum up interest, which I think is a retarded thing to do. They had all of that time since 1986. Now, let's talk about the problems of Alien 3. Problem number 1. James Cameron. I bet you didn't think that was going to be number 1. James Cameron is the reason why Alien 3 is shit, or one of the main reasons why Alien 3 is shit. I've said this in a video before, you did not have to blow up the atmosphere processor. You don't need that ticking clock, the Queen chasing Ripley out of the place. The clock is like this. Let's get out of here, because aliens are trying to kill us and Hicks barely got out alive. Ripley can't fight, we've run out of weapons, we don't have any weapons. Come on, Bishop, let's get the fuck out of Dodge, and the dropship is here. Thank God for that. No, I can't. I have to go and get Newt. So there's a ticking clock. You need to fucking hurry up, because otherwise Newt's going to be facehugger food. Luckily, Ripley gets there just in time. And I hate the eggs in Aliens. The flimsy, thin petals that go all the way back. When you look at the original, it's really thick. I hate that. I really hate that. The eggs in Aliens are terrible. But anyway, moving on. Just copy it, you would have been fine. So, she gets there just in time, and then we need to leave quickly because aliens and the Queen are trying to kill us. And all the aliens that have been attacking the ops room at the colony will be on their way back to the hive. Obviously. Dragging Hudson and Vasquez. Oh no, Vasquez and Gorman are dead. Dragging Burke, maybe, and Hudson with them to the hive. Remember that. Hudson's still alive at that point. So we need to get the fuck out of Dodge. And then we need to leave. But we didn't need the exploding colony. And in my previous thing about the flaws of Aliens, we could have had a thing where Ripley and Hicks try to bomb the colony and Bishop has undermined them. So that's it, right? We've blown up all of the aliens. We've blown up the aliens. We've supposedly blown up the bone ship. As far as we can assume, that's probably what happened. Maybe, I don't know. The bone ship should be still there then. So James Cameron's kind of fucked him. If you want Sigourney Weaver in the film, you have to have the aliens somewhere nearer, which means on the Sulaco, which means the Queen laid some eggs, or someone said that Bishop brought the eggs onto the... Bishop doesn't have time. Bishop is in the colony when they're walking from the atmosphere processor to the colony. Bishop is there when they get there. Bishop then, and we know this because Spunkmeyer goes and drops off a load of kit, and Bishop's fucking dicking around doing an autopsy. Hello, Bishop. Do you need anything else? Spunkmeyer then goes from Bishop to the dropship at the landing pad at the south... It's the south lock, I think. He then gets up in the dropship and then quickly dies and slams into the APC. They're coming back and Bishop is there. So Bishop couldn't have gone and got an egg there, right? Bishop then fly, and I love this one, when he flies Ripley to the fucking Queen, Bishop gets an egg there. Number one, he's with Hicks. Ripley goes down to the hive, where Bishop's up there, down to the hive. He flies the dropship down. He runs in, grabs an egg and runs like, get the fuck out of here. She'd bump into him. And then gets back into the dropship and gets back up there. No. Hicks would be like, wait there, where did he go? Oh no, Hicks is out of it. It's the timing. Where did he hide an egg on the fucking... Where did he hide an egg on the... Because you remember, the egg would have to be on the dropship. You see them come down the stairs, off the ramp, off the dropship. So if there's an egg, it's on the dropship. Bishop's then cut in half. He's not carrying an egg fucking anywhere. Then someone said there's some stupid comic book or with Bishop has an egg inside him. Do you know how big those eggs are? They're this wide and they're fucking 3 foot tall. Stop it with your retardedness. Stop trying to make excuses for Alien 3. Shit. Right. So, James Cameron's the first problem because he's hemmed the story in a bit. If you want Sigourney Weaver in it and an alien, James Cameron's hemmed you in. Simple as that. Number 2, the problem with Alien 3 is Ripley. Plus company. Plus co. Let's put plus co. Get rid of Ripley. Get rid of Sigourney Weaver. Hicks, Newt, Ripley and half a Bishop. Fucking go somewhere. Go home. Face prosecution. Get out of the hypersleep pods before the Sulaco gets to Earth. Eject themselves when they get near Venus or something, near Mars or something. Who fucking knows? Don't go home. But have them end. Tough bitch. She was in a horrible situation in the first place. It's happened to her the second time, but she's voluntarily gone back. The chance of it happening to her again... just leave it. Just leave it. It's lack of confidence. Well, people will go and see an alien film if it hasn't got Ripley in it. No, that's bollocks. That's absolutely... We didn't go and see the first one because it had Ripley in it. Retards. So, Ripley and co. Just let them go. Let them go. But you didn't. So now we have to have this stupid, ridiculous egg malarkey that makes no fucking sense. The alien queen is not under the floor. She is in the sight of Newt or Ripley or all of the time until she gets chucked out into the never never. Right? It's retarded. So, the entire premise, the reason why, one of the main reasons why this film is shit is because of Ripley. Because Ripley in it. Number 3, people say the character death. Character death of Hicks and Newt. Hicksy baby, Hicks and Newt. Right, but they're my favourite characters. Why? Hicks is a grunt who's asleep, who is agreeable with anything that Ripley says. I think we should nuke her from orbit. Yeah, so do I. Let me show you this gun. Here's a tracker. Oh, you give it to the kid. Well, that's lucky. Who is Hicks? Oh, he's my favourite character. Out of all of the people in Aliens, Hicks is your favourite character. I don't know. I think Frost had a bit more going for him. Ferro seems interesting. Vasquez is my favourite character. Hudson's more interesting. Apon's more interesting. Even Gorman has more going for him because he's got this... You know, he's green, he's in charge, but they're not taking him seriously. He hates that they're undermining him, like anyone else would. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He's been forced into this situation, not the other way around. And he's new, he's green, right? But he does the right thing. He fucks up, and he does the right thing. The right thing was not killing Vasquez. That was the wrong thing. The right thing that he did was to let Ripley and Hicks continue with their plan. He didn't barge in there and say, "I'm the fucking the officer here." He didn't do that. He realised that he's injured. He realised he'd fucked up majorly. That's the redeeming thing that Gorman does, not the blowing up Vasquez. That's just been a coward, right? Fight them. Get a pistol out. Stab them. Fight them. Take as many as you can with them. right? Kill them. Yes, I know you do that with a grenade, but you can do that after you've fucked them up a bit. It was very cowardice, right? I think, anyway, that's what I believe. You just go down screaming and kicking and fighting and then shove a grenade in its mouth and blow it up. I just think hugging each other and blowing each other up, yeah, it works. But, like I say, Gorman redeeming himself, he made a fuck up, right? He made a mistake. When I say he made a mistake, Gorman fucked up because he's inexperienced. You can't really blame someone too much for their inexperience. They just don't have it. And he didn't put him in charge of that mission. Somebody else did. It's their mistake, and Gorman fucked up. And he redeemed himself by allowing Ripley and Hicks to carry on. You know what I mean? It's well done. Those bits are well written. But Hicks, this wonderful character, Newt, fuck off. Newt is probably one of the most annoying things in Aliens. Oh, just I don't know what it is about her. It's not that it's bad. Her acting isn't bad. It isn't good. It's meh. It's not that. It's... I don't know, it's just the convenience of, oh my God, it was my parents that found the egg and I'm not dead, is a bit funny. What I do like the idea of and the story of is the girl they found in the hive. The girl they found in the hive was probably looking after Newt. That girl that died in the hive, she was only impregnated a day ago. So, yes, they haven't taught them, they said, oh, this little girl survived for 3 weeks with no training. No, she didn't. There was loads of people running around. We've just seen a woman die in the hive, a young woman die in the hive right now. It wasn't like chest bursters in there for 3 weeks and you just walk her up. They don't have to be awake for it to happen. So, I don't know that this girl was running around with this young woman, but there were people around, right? The death of the colony has taken time. It wasn't all on one afternoon. Clearly, because we've got a survivor who's only just been infected. And, you might say, well, there's that bit where there's all of her stuff collected. They could have both been in there. We don't fucking know what's going on. So, Newt and Hicks, it's like there's a problem. When you want to try and make one of these kind of films, having a little girl running around means the death of your main characters. The moment Newt's in trouble, Ripley or Hicks are going to have to throw themselves in the way. Right? So I believe, right, people are like, oh, Hicks is such a good character. It's like, Hicks isn't a character. Tell me something that Hicks would do that Ripley wouldn't do. There's no arc there. There's no nothing there. It's just like, Ripley'd say, do this, Hicks, and he'd go, yeah. Do this, Hicks, well, yeah. Do this, Hicks, well, yeah. That's all that would happen. So, and the idea of a romance in an alien film is just making me feel sick, right? It's just, no, don't do that, please don't do that. Either you have a romance that's already going, but let's not have fucking Harry Met Sally in a fucking alien film, that's retarded. So I think that the film, as a premise, was already broken before you even start, right? Then you get to this egg malarkey, which is just complete fucking bollocks and nonsense. Let's talk about the beginning. How does it even happen? So, you see a blood stain, you see acid somehow, electrical fire. It then puts the pods into an escape thing, which are different pods than there were in the Marine show. Fucking who cares? The slate pods are different, but who cares? That's the least of this film's problems. And then it ejects them just conveniently near it. You do realise how planets work, right, science fiction people? Here's a star, here's Fury, whatever it's called, 136 or whatever the fuck it's called. You do realise that your ship that's going by has to intersect with where that is for you to eject that pod. And you do realise that the difference between here and here is, it can be like 1 week, to 4 years. It depends what the orbit is, right? Depends what kind of star it is. What the fuck? Why is the Sulaco flying so close to a star? You haven't... It's retarded. It's actually retarded. Why would you go from Earth to LV-426, but do this. You wouldn't do that, because that's what you'd have to do to go past all of these star systems. Right? You'd have to literally go past them like that. Why would you do that when in space, when you throw something, Newton's first law, you just keep on going. So you just fire your engines and go straight home. This is retarded. At least in the Nostromo, in the first one, it's like, oh, we've been diverted, rerouted. Yeah, you'd have to, because you don't fly past stars. Number 2 is, in Aliens, they're going to this particular specific place, so that makes sense. Was the Sulaco going to Fury? Why? It didn't seem to want to stop there. As far as I know, the fucking ship has gone. Why don't you have a fucking... It's a spaceship. It's a firing... Open the doors and let all the fucking air out. The fire will go out, you dickheads. The people are in cryopods that are sealed. Retards. You open the door, the fucking air fucks off and the fires go out. Fire in a ship. It's like... Here's another one. Why is Jonesy on the Nostromo? Well, we have a ship's cat. What for? The rats, like you do a sailing ship. Are you retarded? Are you actually retarded? It's like this. You leave Earth on the Nostromo to go to, where is it? Thaddeus, or wherever it is? Something like that. You go from Earth to your destination, right? So you set off from Earth and you go into Planet X. Right? Planet X. You set off from Earth. What you do is everyone gets in their hypersleep pods. You make sure the cat's in there as well, because it's the ship's pet. It's nothing to do with fucking rats. And what you do is everyone's in hypersleep, and 5 hours into the hypersleep, you fucking vent the ship. You let all the air out. You vent the ship, and then anything in the ship suffocates. Now, why would you do that? Why would you vent all the air out of the ship and kill any stowaways, any rats, any mice? Why would you do that? Do you know why? Because those little cunts will chew through wires, which could destroy the whole mission. If there was a rat on the Nostromo and it just started gnawing cables like a cunt, and there's a few rats and they multiply. Well, number one is they'd be using the oxygen supply, so why are you using the oxygen supply on something that shouldn't be there? But number two is they're a danger to the ship. They're a danger to the ship. They could literally fuck the ship up. They could be gnawing through your hypersleep cables or your power cables or even cause a fire. So what you'd do is you'd vent the ship as a standard procedure for, these hauls, these long-distance transports, is you'd vent the ship to kill everything that's in there. No air, you're fucked. Right? And they'd be like, there might be separate bulkheads that are sealed. Dude, we'd design it so that there's a small hole so everything vents. Right? Not like that, is the mother's taking control of it. So you open all the doors and vent the whole fucking thing. They're in the hypersleep pods. They're fine. They're sealed. Right? Fuck me, they don't age. Of course they're sealed. Vent the whole fucking thing. Close all the doors. And then leave it like that. Leave it vented. Right? And then what happens? Because then you don't get condensation problems. You don't get oxidation problems over time. That's why the ship's so fucking clean, probably. Then once you've vented the ship, right? And you can do a slow vent, right? You can bleed the air out. You don't have to open the doors and everything blows in like a hurricane and fucks all your stuff up. You can just slowly vent the ship. Like a slow puncher. And you can spend the next week venting the ship, or the next hour, 5 hours, 10 hours venting the ship, so everything dies. And then once everything's dead, you leave it unvented. And then when you're getting close to your destination, you close the ship back up, pump the atmosphere back in, heat the fucker up for the crew to wake up. You do this as standard procedure. So, I know I've gone off on a tangent, but no cats. Cats are not there for the fucking mice. That's retarded. But it's not just mice. What happens when you go to some alien world and there's some fucking horrible thing in there that eats metal? You know what I mean? You also don't want that. Kill the fucking thing. So, So So the Sulaco flying past somewhere conveniently, and it's literally the pod goes out and it shows you the planet's surface. So the Sulaco was literally going there. It must be. It must be going to the system, not just to this star. But it must be rendezvousing with Fury. Was this intentional? It doesn't make any fucking sense. But the ship, as far as all we know, fucks off. See you later. It's not in orbit or anything. It just fucks off. Carries on going back to Earth for some strange reason. So it ditches the entire ship, doesn't vent the atmosphere to fuck the fire off. And then Ripley or Newt get facehuggered? There's a facehugger walking out. No, it's Ripley. So it breaks into the cryo. How does it break into the cryo thing? Exactly the same way it broke into Kane's mask. Okay, fair enough. Why has it got an acid burner? Why did it burn itself? Surely that means it's injured. Anyway, it jumps on her face, impregnates Ripley, and falls off without it being in the pod, which is fine because we don't see that when we see Ripley. She's on the beach, undead for some reason. She didn't drown, which I think is a bit bizarre. Maybe the facehugger, and I do like this, maybe the facehugger was on Ripley that stopped her from drowning. It sealed her up, or it fed her a bit of oxygen, as much oxygen as it had, and then it fell off in the rolling waves. Cool, I don't mind that, that's a good idea. But then there's another facehugger. So these two eggs, it's lucky there's two, otherwise all of this would be shit. Though the facehuggers got out of the egg again. What prompted the facehuggers to leave the eggs? They sat there, the Queen shat it out, or it was inside Bishop's body, or something else retarded. And these eggs just sit there. And then one day they go, Ian, I think it's time we begin Alien 3. And he's like, okay, Sebastian. And then they hatch, and they walk over. And it goes, it's such a shit shot. And then it jumps on Ripley's face, doesn't jump on anybody else's face, which I found weird. The other facehugger just goes, meh. Now, you got to remember, the pods were transferred to this escape pod, this EEV. So the eggs were in the room that the pods get transferred. It doesn't make any sense. The whole thing is fucking broken. But that, again, is just, we don't care about sci-fi. Fuck it, let's go. So, now we land on Fury, and there's loads of British people. The Americans didn't appreciate this. There's loads of guys with skinheads. Rapists, murderers. We later find out that all these people, could get transferred to another prison or something, or just be shot or something. They all decided to stay on this dump. I don't understand that. I just don't understand the concept of that. Because there's enough kit on that planet and EEVs dropping out the sky that they might be able to get loose or free. What happens if a ship just comes by, lands on it, and they take over the ship and leave? Oh my god, that nearly actually happens. Why did the Sulaco eject the space? Why did it... There's a fire. Why didn't it just... I don't know why it didn't just vent the ship and leave the people in the pods, resupply the ship with oxygen, and then wake them up and say there's been a fire. It's all right, we sorted it. Instead of going, hot potato, put them in a thing and eject them into space, which they then crash, and that kills Newt and Hicks. Not only that is, this EEV, it goes like a meteorite, hits the water. I don't care who you are, that would have killed all of them. That hitting the water at that speed would have fucked them up inside. It would have killed them all. Your lungs collapse, it's squishing against your heart. You know what I mean? You just die, right? You just fucking die. But no, she didn't die. The other two did, though. Hicks got a beam to the face. Beam. So, yeah. And then we do the autopsy thing with Newt. And then they say, this is a prison planet. There's literally 6 of us here. Dumb idea. And there's the alien now running around, and you don't believe me. And then there's a doctor, and it's very dreary. Some of the lines are quite good. Charles Dance is the way he conveys emotion in those scenes is very good. The way he dodges the questions, the way she notices he dodges the question, all this stuff is hot. It's good writing, interesting. You fall, yeah, and you like it. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. And then he dies, which was a bit of a shame, but and then we get some of the shitty stuff, which is all of the CGI puppet. It's not CGI. It's all of the green screen puppet stuff, motion capture with really bad lighting or mismatched lighting. And then we get the scene where Ripley turns her face and it's the puppet head comes in and it looks amazing. Oh, that's what I wanted. There, that film is worth it just for that scene. That's the good stuff. And then it runs away with Charles Dance. And we don't know why. It takes his body to eat or something. Don't know. And then we get this total weird, we don't know what we're doing mashup. It's not, story-wise, like narratively, it is boring. Well, we're gonna coat all the walls and everything in fire. And then we're gonna find out where it is. And then we're gonna fire it. I'm like, look, she says zebra, and I hate that. It's zebra, but whatever. She says, it won't go far because we're all here. Well, listen, bitch, right? It's quite simple, right? All get in the canteen, right, and wait for it to come in. Or all hide in a big fucking circle and have one guy mopping away, and it'll come for him, right? And then just douse the thing in fucking gasoline and set fire to the fucker. It'll be done. I don't understand why this is that difficult to do. They really make a meal out of, let's cover every single surface in fire. Why? Do you know, I was watching it going, I'm expecting this to just ignite at any moment because you're all having fags, you retards. It's one alien and there's loads of you. Just get loads of sticks, metal rods. They've got these rods. She picks up one and goes and poking around in the basement. Just go after it. Yeah, one or two of you might die, but instead, all of you die. We've seen in Aliens, it's there you go, it's dead. Shoot it. Fucking shoot it. Dies. It's just a bad premise. You've got all of these men, big men. I want to fuck. The thing is, these are meant to be murderers. They're meant to be psychopathic. That's one of the things that really fucks me off about this, right? Is that it's the psychology. Ecology. It's not a word I write very often. I'll probably spell that wrong. It's all right. We'll live. It's the psychology. These guys are all rapists and murderers, right? They're all suffering for some kind of psychosis. Paedophiles, murderers. The paedophiles maybe not because they just love kids, and it doesn't mean that they're actually psychotic. They've just got they've got a taste that's unacceptable. But the other ones, these serial killers and stuff, they might be schizophrenic or they're psychopathic. They might be suffering from all sorts of fucking psychological disorders. These guys are nuts. Fucking nuts. Violent nutcases. Right? They shouldn't be this scared. They shouldn't be this scared. Golic, I actually do like the idea of Golic. They did not really anything with him. Now, people are going to say to me, but watch the assembly cut, it's better. No, it's not. I watched the other one. What's the new one that people said where they redid all the colour balance? It's still the same shit film. Yes, it looks ever so slightly better because you've darkened all the alien shots. It's all still shit. The film... It's like this. Explain the story of Aliens. Well, a woman comes out of hypersleep after being set adrift for 57 years. She comes out with this story that her crew were ordered by a company to go down and explore a mystery signal. One of their crew members was assaulted by a parasite. This parasite then birthed another parasite from within him, which turned into a giant lethal weapon alien that killed all the crew, and she had to blow up the ship to escape. with her life. Weirdly enough, the alien also got on board with her, and then she had to eject it into space. We're just at the point of explaining why she'd been drifting in space. No mention of the colony or anything. Here's Alien 3. The same woman is ejected from her ship because of a fire and lands on a prison planet, and then the prisoners try to kill the alien. That's it! That's a shitload set. You see, I had to explain why she's been adrift in space, right? Or I could do the same thing, the same thing is, okay, so that's the explanation from the previous film to the new one. In Aliens 2, she has to then, after going through a tribunal to see if she was at fault for said film, she then, connection is lost between the colony that is where this disaster she claims to have happened. So she is asked to go as a liaison with the military to go and investigate what's happened to this colony. When they get there, they realise that the colony has been attacked by the aliens. They then find the colonists inside a hive, and half of them are killed. After that, she then helps the remaining Marines basically get off the planet's surface and survive the alien attack. Unfortunately, the little girl that they find, which is the last survivor, goes missing and is grabbed by the aliens and sent to the hive, and she has to go and recover them. Then when they get back on their main ship, up in orbit, the Queen followed them, and then Ripley has to fight the Queen and eject it into space, hunky-dory, and Bishop gets cut in half. There's the description of what happens in Alien 2. In Alien 3, it's the same thing. It's like, after that, they get ejected because of a fire from their military ship onto a prison planet, and then all the prisoners and her have to try and kill the alien. Oh, that is it. That is the complexity, because that's exactly what happens. She goes down to the surface where there's loads of prisoners, and they have to fight the alien to survive. Oh, and then one added bit. The company turn up trying to stop her, and she commits suicide because she has an alien inside her. That's another sentence. Holy fuck, is that it? Nothing happens. And I've missed out the Burke bit, and I've missed out... There's nothing that happens in Alien 3. It is a very, 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 very simple story. It's actually so simple that it is boring. We've got to try and kill the alien. There's this alien. Let's try and kill this alien. We do a plan. Plan is stupid. We then have another bit where we add in where they capture the alien, but then Golic lets it go because he's an absolute fucking retard. Why is the door not locked? Lock the fucking door. Golic just pushes a button and opens it. Why would you have that? Why don't you kill it? What I don't get is this. They open the door. The alien goes in the door, right? Fucking burn it. She's like, the company want it trapped. It goes against everything that Ripley's like. She's like, well, trap it. It won't get out of there. Well, fucking just chuck loads of barrels in. Get loads of sticks. All stand at the door. Open the door. When it comes to... Fuck off, you little cunt. And then petrol bomb the bastard. Keep on petrol bombing it until the fucker burns. Well, it might jump the flames. You stand right back and stab the fucker, and then you have people behind that ready to chuck petrol bombs at them fuckers. You just don't tell them. You know what I mean? Kill it. Fuck's sake, kill it. Why didn't they cover the entire floor? You know they've got that giant vault where they're trying to get the alien to go in. Cover that in the fucking flammable shit. Coax the alien to come and get someone to run into there. Right? It runs in, he goes, ha, because he's hiding behind the door, gets back out, and then they set fire to it and close the door, and it burns inside there. Fucking... Instead, we're going to set fire to everything outside the vault. What is fucking wrong with these people? Ripley knows that they're not difficult to kill. Like, they're not difficult. When there's fucking 40 guys and one alien, they are not difficult to kill. Ah, shit. In a wide open space with loads of room, loads of bottlenecks, loads of everything. It's absolutely retarded. Then you've got characters that we can't get behind. Oh, I really like that rapist. I really like that murderer. Oh, I really like Dylan. I'm a raper and killer of women. Ooh! That's it. I'm Team Dylan. What are you doing? Why did you do that? It's just bizarre. The idea originally was to have the monks, which would have been a better idea. I don't know why they didn't like the idea. The whole wooden planet was retarded. That was a story that they came up with, to have the whole planet, a planet made out of wood, retarded. It would be better if they were a sect of the church that were a bit extreme in the way that they followed the Bible or something, or some kind of sect. And that they, I don't know, they were a violent sect of the church. So when, they used to secretly sacrifice people or something, something weird, some weird arm of the church. And then she's trying to, or not even that. They're absolutely 100% innocent, and they've kind of been laughed at. And they went and found a sanctuary. They bought it. They used the church's money to buy this old refinery. And they're trying to convert this old lead refinery into a place of worship. It's the promise. They call it the Promised Land or something, and they're trying to encourage people to come. But sadly, the experiment failed, and there's now 35, 40 monks on this island, at this old refinery, and no one's coming. No one's coming to join them at this retreat, this, arse end of the world. That's why Wayland or whoever, I wish it was a different company, not Wayland, sold it to them, because it's the arse end of nowhere. Whatever they were refining, it ran out. Or an accident happened and it was closed down by the government. You know what I mean? It was closed down because it was dangerous. But for priests, it's fine. So you've got all these monks. And the thing is that they take it as it's the devil. Or at first they don't believe her, and then they see it as the devil. And she tries to convince them to fight it. And there's no fighting the devil. And you could go down this whole evangelical, we're fucking crazy nutcases type. Each priest responds, each monk or whatever responds to it in a different way. And you could actually use a lot of the same actors. They're just not fucking paedophiles. And then have more of a story. Have something to say about organised religion. You know what I mean? And have a thing where, you have Charles Dance, and he's one of these priests. And they say, she says, he sees the alien, and then she says to him, there he is. And he says, this is what we've been talking about all this time. We've been talking about, some of these men let the alien kill them. You know what I mean? Or, you see, this is God's will to fight the thing. And you could write all sorts of cool philosophical and, a lot of theology. What is it? I can't remember. Like, what would you call it? I don't know. I'm not smart enough. Theological, is it theological? But a theological discussion, or try and talk about the ins and outs of God and punishment, and would a God really make an alien? Why isn't there any mention in the Bible of an alien? And it was given to man to digest what he knew at the time. You could talk about all of these different things, and you could have loads of different things where there's some people who see, and this is from the comic books, but you could have a thing where some of these men are actively giving themselves to the alien because they think this is actually the return of the Messiah. You could have all sorts of shit. That slight Golic thing, and they have this, what they call post-apocalyptic religion, that they did give the... Just make them monks. I don't know why you didn't do that. And you could have this kind of industrial age steampunk background that's been slowly covered in... It's been clad in wooden shit, and they're trying to dress up all these sets. It's an old industrial workhouse, and they're trying to make, they're sweeping up, and they're trying to make it pretty, and they're drawing murals on everything, and there's fucking Marys everywhere, and crosses, and all this shit. It could have been really fucking cool. There's a slight element, there is a cross in it that's made out of steel, but it's shit. And like I say, you don't make these people prisoners, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? It's like you could have some of them who have the whole Friar Tuck hair, and then she's like, well, why did some of you have the Friar Tuck hair and some of you don't? It's like, well, some of us don't take it that seriously. Or whatever. You could have maybe this is a place where there's loads of religions, loads of different sects of Christianity that they all, you don't have to do Christianity, but, you know what I mean, some weird blend. But, it's like an Islamic Christianity, some weird fucking thing. At least it'd be creative in the future, some of the religions merged because basically they all come from, Islam, the Quran talks about fucking Jesus, so who knows? You could have been more creative with it. And it wouldn't have cost them any more money. It would just needed a completed script, you know what I mean? And the whole bishop turns up, I'm the real bishop. No, come on now. You don't need Lance in there, for fuck's sake. And then the whole idea, she's running around a long time. It's a queen. So that's now how it works, right? A facehugger, there's a queen facehugger. Fuck off. There's a queen facehugger and a queen embryo. Hate that idea. Absolutely hate that idea. Doesn't have. Why now? Why this egg? Oh, because the queen laid it because she knew she was going to die. Oh, okay. Well, what were all the other fucking eggs for then, you retard? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I do like the fact that the alien leaves her alone, but I think what should happen... You see, you don't have to do this mystery thing. What they should have done is they have the film, and then halfway through, like Ripley could be just... she goes and sees Charles dance, and they have an argument about this religion and stuff, and this alien running around, and you're not... You need to fucking fight it, and how can we fight the will of God? And all this shit. She gets angry. And she goes back to her room, and then she hears a door, and she goes, oh, have you come to apologise? And then a facehugger jumps on her fucking face. And then then the next thing you know, she's like a fucking Snow White thing, where she's basically laid, and like, oh, what the fuck do we do now? And then she's just got an embryo, not a fucking queen. And it falls off her face halfway through the film, and she's like, I'm fucked. And then she comes to the realisation, we can use this to our advantage. The alien won't hurt me. When it finally comes to kill Charles Dance, and you have that in that's like the second act low point. Well, yeah, the second act low point is when she realises it's come here and it's buggered off. Of course it won't hurt me. I've got an embryo. She says, I've only got 5 hours before I have to top myself. So she works with them to try and fight it. And she uses the fact that she can't be killed by the alien. And then she finds she pushes it too far. And the alien does fuck her up. Doesn't kill her, but it debilitates her. You know what I mean? Fuck off, bitch. And then it kills somebody else. And, in a desperate move, they do something cool where she sacrifices herself and the alien tries to stop her, just say, and it kills them both. That kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Do something a lot better with it. All I say is someone threatens her, so the alien goes after him, and that ends up killing all 3 of them. That'd be like, oh, that's better. That's a lot. Yeah, I know Sigourney Weaver wanted out of the series, all that kind of shit. Ha, that didn't work, did it? But you know what I mean? Then she won't have to... Why does she have to, shave her head? What are you trying to do to the poor bitch? I wouldn't ever say to an actress, shave your head, unless there was a fucking really good reason. I don't know. Doing a film reenacting when Will Smith looked like a chump, you know what I mean, and slapped Chris Rock. Then you have to have this actress, and you say to this actress, you're playing that whore, Will Smith's wife, can you shave your head? Because that's the whole point of this joke won't make sense, and the whole thing, you need to have a shaved head. Why do they do it to Sigourney Weaver? I don't fucking know. And then they wouldn't have to pay so much for someone to make a cap for her to do the reshoots of the scene at the end. You wouldn't have to pay for that bullshit, would you? Because she wasn't going to shave her head again. I don't blame her. I don't understand. It's like, oh, there's lice. That's why you shave your head. Why? Why did you write that in? Sigourney Weaver should have just said, why? Well, it's in the story. Yeah, but you want to answer the question. Why? Why is it in the story that there's lice that I have to shave everything off? I reckon she had a bush going anyway. She's like, yeah, you don't see my twat though, do you? So I'm rocking the hair downstairs and I'll glue that back on my head later. I don't understand why they did it. Well, all the prisoners look like it. So gives a shit. That might be for religious reasons. I just don't. I think the better idea for this whole thing was if James Cameron didn't fuck them, So James Cameron blew up everything. Well, just say that the bone ship's fine. And then just say it would be contrived, but Newt, Hicks and Ripley wake up halfway through hypersleep on purpose and they scuttle the Sulaco because she knows the company, because of Burke's actions, are after the thing. She also then works out, from my idea, that Bishop fucked the bombing, the nuking, but that's not what happened. We're doing Alien 3. Aliens has already been made. So they wake up halfway, and then Bishop literally fights against them. He's like, you can't just leave. So they deactivate Bishop or something, or whatever. Or they don't even wake him up, fuck it. So Ripley, Hicks and Newt, if you had to have them, I wouldn't have them for Alien 3 whatsoever. I'd just say they disappeared and we never hear from them again. But if you had to have them, Ripley, Hicks and Newt then scuttle the ship and then land somewhere, not some prison planet, this fucking idea of this monastery. You go down there. You know what I mean? And then you're stuck. It's like, well, how did the eggs get onto the ship? You know what I mean? Well, then that's what you say. On Fury, right? And I know we're going well off now. The review for Aliens 3 is over. On Fury, 4 weeks prior, a crew of prospectors, right, had been to Hadley's Hope. They mention we went to a colony and all shit was breaking loose, right? Or we went to the colony, all shit was breaking loose, and one of the guys says, I went to go and see my brother at the colony. It was on our way, right? Oh, we're prospectors there. All shit started breaking loose, and we left. Unfortunately, my brother had a facehugger on him. Right? And it's like, so what did you do? Well, we just left. We took off from LV426. Right? We just took off from LV426. Now, this is the thing. There's Earth. This is LV426. This is Earth, right? And one of the closest systems on the way back is Fury, right? It's not a direct route. This is the direct route. This gap here is 4 light years, just say. Right? So, the crew from the prospecting, they go to LV426 to go and do some prospecting or to transport some minerals that they're mining from Hadley's Hope, whatever. The colony, oh my God, the fucking colony's going ape shit. When they get there, the attack on the colony is happening. Right? And now you need to get the fuck out of here. While they're there, they're going to the colony. It's like, dude, this isn't a good time. It's all going haywire, right? It's only just started. The brother of this ship, right? So this ship, we could just call it the, I don't know, the Barossa. Right, the ship, the Barossa, flies back. And what happens is the brother chest bursts, right, and there's an alien, and they lock it. They lock it in one of the mineral wagons. You know, like they've got a storage facility. Like the vault on Fury, right? And like, fuck, we put him in there, we didn't know what the fuck to do with him. You know, or we managed to trap it. It's a little crew of like 6 of them. We managed to trap it in this end of the ship. And then what we needed help. We needed emergency help. Well, on the way back, Fury. We know Fury's a place. There's all these monks there. They trade with people, fuel and food and stuff. They have these little indoor gardens, these greenhouses. Outside's terrible. They've got these, you know, polytunnels or whatever. They go to Fury to go and ask for help, or, you know, to go and get help. Maybe they're doing some illegal prospecting, or they're doing some illegal trading with minerals, or something, right? They're skimming off the top. So they're not criminals, but you know what I mean? Doing shady shit. So they come to Fury, and they're there because the Sulaco is going past Ripley looks at a map and says, when she wakes up, she goes, right, the timer's gone off. Let's scuttle the ship. As in, her and Hicks... Oh, no, she doesn't tell Hicks. When they wake up, right, while Hicks is in hypersleep, he gets a bit repaired, right? You can program it to do that. When they wake up, Hicks has gone, all right, so we're back home. She goes, no, we're not back home. We're not far from Fury. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And then she can tell him, which is expositing to us, we need to scuttle the ship. We can't go back home. You know what Burke was doing. You know what Burke was doing. They then wake up Bishop and talk to him. And Bishop goes, yeah, everything's gone back to the company. Your return is the highest priority. So she goes, well, fuck that, right? They turn Bishop off. They kill him, you know. He goes, they know what you do, you know. I need to, when I plug back in, I'll report this back to the company. So they kill Bishop. Bishop at least is honest and says, you know, you need to turn me off. Because the moment you plug me back into the thing to fix me, it'll upload to the network. So they kill Bishop here. They then scuttle the ship, fuck the ship off, right, or crash it into the surface or something, and use an EEV to go down to Fury, or use a drop ship to go, no, not a drop ship. They use the EEV because they don't have access to, they can't access all the military stuff because you need a code. In other words, to do a drop to a planet, you need to put in an access code, and they haven't got the clearance for that. Only Gorman would have clearance for that, and he's dead. So they get an EEV, go down to Fury, and when they get there, and they land, it's an escape pod you can land in, not fucking crashing. When you get there, it's an escape pod, and they say, oh, we'll hitch a ride off someone. And they see a ship. They see the Barossa, and they go, oh, we'll hitch a ride off them. So they go down to the surface in this EEV, which is a one-trick pony. They get there, and Ripley says, we'll just have to take our chances. They get there, Newt, Ripley, and Hicks, and then they find out that this fucker, there's an alien on the fucking ship. And then she says, well, we have to kill it. And then you have this little crew of 4, and them, and the priests. And then, I don't know, the bloke goes, well, I'll go and kill it, and then goes to try and fucking do it himself and fucks up, or something. Now we've got characters. We've got this little crew of 4 people who are shitting themselves and don't know what to do. They're worried about they'll get arrested by the authorities. You've got our 3 heroes who are still alive doing their shit. If you have to do that, you've got the Fury thing, you've got the priest. Or the possibilities of lines and what you could do and action sequences and all this shit. You could easily do it for the money of Alien 3. It wouldn't be so fucking retarded. And if you had all of this, it would all make sense. They didn't take an egg with them on the Sulaco. Some motherfucker went and got a facehugger instead. Or, I don't know, when Hadley's Hope was starting to be infected, there was a couple of brothers. I don't know, it's always brothers with me. There was a couple of, I'm just going with brothers. There was a couple of brothers who thought, fuck me, we might be able to sell these eggs. Contact someone they know who arrives within a couple of days, or someone who's on the way. Maybe it's a guy who is on the colony, and his brother is the guy who ships the minerals backwards and forwards from Hadley's Hope. When he gets there, he goes, oh, you've just arrived in time, man. There's these fucking eggs and these facehuggers and shit. Gives them 2 of the jars with facehuggers inside them, not the ones that are used in Aliens, or 2 eggs or something, and they're trying to smuggle them out. And then when they get to Fury, something happens and they manage to get out. I'm doing this all off the top of my head. But I would much rather have Ripley and Hicks are being smart and doing the right thing and just end up at the wrong place at the wrong time. And it would make sense. These stars are so far apart that maybe there's only, between LV-426 and Earth, there's only 2 planets. Near. One's here, one's Fury, and LV-426 is over there. Then it would make sense that they'd end up in the same place at the same time. And either Ripley and Hicks arrive too late and the alien's already running amok, or you don't understand these eggs are extremely dangerous. Hicks tries to stop them, but he hasn't got all his weaponry because he didn't bring it with him. Because he's fucked. Ripley didn't say, oh shit, I should have brought a couple of fucking pulse rifles. That kind of stuff. They're trying to hide. Ripley, Hicks and Newt. Hicks takes off all his stuff. He chucks his dog tags. Ripley, Hicks and Newt are trying to pretend they're somebody else. They dye Newt's hair or cut it all off or something. You know, they're trying to escape. They're now refugees because they're now the wanted people. They know Bishop has told them, fuck me, you could do so much with Alien 3. Instead, they shit all over it and do this nonsense. See, it's not. You can easily write your way out of these things. It's just this continuous thread of it has to be Ripley and the eggs, because that's how the first one happens. The first one happens that she comes across the aliens and she gets rid of it, and then in the second one they actually drag her back to where it all happened, as in it's detached. You have to. There's ways you can write around all of these things. And one day, if I ever had the money and ever had all the resources and all the shit, I would redo Alien 3 to something more like that, something that would make more sense. Any road, that's the review for Alien 3, which was full of a lot of my fan fiction version of what Alien 3 could have been. Hope that makes sense, and I'll see you in a bit.